How websites are rendered in web browsers, step by step, from the moment you type a URL to when you see a fully loaded web page. What does rendering a website mean? Rendering refers to the process by which a web browser takes the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code received from a server and converts it into the visual web page you see on your screen. Step-by-step process. How websites are rendered in browsers. 1. URL input and DNS resolution. You enter a website address like https:/www.example.com. The browser uses the DNS domain name system to convert the domain name to an IP address, e.g. 142.258.19.206. 2. HTTP/HTTPS request sent. The browser sends a request to the server using either HTTP or HTTPS. This request asks for the main HTML file of the page. 3. Server responds with HTML. The server sends back an HTML document. The browser starts parsing the HTML immediately without waiting for the whole file to download. 4. HTML parsing and DOM construction. The browser reads the HTML line by line. It creates the DOM, document object model, a tree-like structure that represents all elements like div, p, img, etc. 5. CSS parsing and style calculation. If the HTML includes links to CSS files, link tags, the browser sends requests to fetch them. Once received, it parses the CSS and builds the CSS-OM, CSS object model. Then, it combines the DOM plus CSS-OM to compute styles for each element. 6. JavaScript execution. If there are script tags, internal or external, the browser downloads and executes the JavaScript. JavaScript can modify the DOM, e.g. insert new elements, react to user actions, clicks, scrolls, fetch more data from the server, AJAX, fetch API. Note, JS execution can pause rendering, especially synchronous scripts in head. 7. Render tree construction. The browser builds a render tree from the DOM and CSSM. This tree includes only visible content, elements that will appear on screen. It calculates layout, position and size of each element, paint, colors, fonts, borders, compositing, layering elements. 8. Painting on screen, rendering. The browser takes the render tree and starts painting elements pixel by pixel onto the screen. This is the actual rendering. This process is handled by the browser engine, like Blink in Chrome, Gecko in Firefox. 9. Handling events. After rendering, the browser continuously listens for mouse and keyboard events, JavaScript changes, scroll or resize actions. It can repaint or reflow the page in response. Summary table, stage, description. 1. URL input. DNS resolves domain to IP address. 2. Request. Browser requests HTML from server. 3. Response. Server sends back HTML. 4. Parsing. HTML DOM, CSS, CSM. 5. JavaScript. Fun. Runs and modifies DOM CSS. Render tree. Combines DOM CSSM for layout. 7. Painting. Draws elements pixel by pixel. 8. Interactivity. Listens to user actions and updates view. Key browser components involved. Component purpose. Networking. Handles HTTP, HTTPS, downloads resources. HTML parser builds the DOM. CSS parser builds the CSSM. JavaScript executes JS, e.g. V8 in Chrome. Render engine constructs render tree and paints UI. UI backend draws widgets, fonts, images. Compositor handles layers and animations. Pro tip, critical rendering path. The critical rendering path is the sequence of steps browsers take to convert HTML, CSS, and JS into pixels on the screen. Optimizing it improves performance and load speed. Example, simplified. You visit https://example.com. 1. Browser asks DNS, gets IP. 2. Sends HTTP request, gets HTML3. Parses HTML, builds DOM. 4. Downloads CSS, builds CSSM. 5. Downloads and runs JS. 6. Builds render tree. 7. Paints content on screen. 8. User interacts, browser responds. Would you like a visual diagram? How websites are rendered in web browsers, step by step, from the moment you type a URL to when you see a fully loaded web page.